Guys, how's it going? So, naturally, something that I thought I'd go over is I think the Sunshine Bringer is one of the best in terms of what you get in PvP just because of the control bonuses. I mean, obviously, if you can get, say like Anubis, for example, or even like if you're starting out, get 3-round shooter. Like, 3-round shooter is really good for PvE in particular, but that's only really if you're building like a Plume Monarch, right? The main thing here is to try and find a balance between your crit and combo. Obviously, the higher crit and combo you have, the better, but you don't want to like make it so skewed that where it's like 30% difference between the two in any grand amount, because you wind up needing more crit or needing more combo in order to really magnify the amount of damage that you do in the game. And as far as skills are concerned, like, I've had people like say you can stun into oblivion, right? Basically do a combination of, say, like, take Blitz Assault out and do like a stunning master mess of sorts. So like, say like we do 2.5 seconds on the third skill, we could do like 5 on the first skill. Yeah, and just basically run this through a loop by so like here I'll do I gotta remember actually which skill it is. This one goes for 1.5, and then this one goes for 3. So basically, if we do that in 5 seconds, then we're gonna have 3 seconds to when it fires off, and then this skill here is gonna fire off for 1.5 seconds. So for that reason, we'll just set to no delay on that one, and then we'll do 5 seconds on the other. But anyway, the main thing being is that if you were to go and say like go do a lot Blazing Cave, for example, and you're wanting to do like something really critical in PvE, the main thing is that you want to basically throw these all in tandem. In fact, if you want to make it even that much better, you could also potentially throw in like say a Shroom Shield, for example. And that's just going to basically give you a bunch of time to live, but at the cost of damage. And I mean, I can kind of show you what I mean. So like, doing the Shroom Shield, for example, and then just jumping into it, you're going to live longer and you're going to consistently do damage. But, it's kind of like one of those things where you've got to keep yourself alive for an extended period of time. And that can be kind of challenging on its own, right? Like the idea here, though, is to basically maximize it. But like here, you can see I got, a little over 1800. Pretty easy. And that's for the lava boss, right? Now, if you're like going to be doing anything with, say, like PvE, wise, I guess. So like, here, we'll keep that skill because that doesn't really hurt us. But like, one skill I like using is Worldly Snare with the Plume Monarch build. So we'll just throw this in there. Okay. So, like for example, in PvP though, right? And again, I didn't change my Sunshine Bringer. I could have, though. I could have easily gone to like, say, my Anubis whenever I'm doing PvE. But if I'm going into PvP, I can go Sunshine Bringer, and then basically say like, I don't know, we jump into a battle with like Antho, for example. And again, there's quite a few factors involved here with my particular spec, because I've got Magic Carpet and a couple of other things, right? But the idea in practice here is because you stun and then you've got delayed stuns and stuff like that, you kind of have to weigh what would be more beneficial for you. Like, depending on the player, you may even find yourself needing not necessarily Disarm or Dazzled so much as you may need Blitz Assault. But one thing that I've always come to find that is really useful is having Smoke Bomb in that combination, because it just gives you so much damage in terms of what you can do on the players themselves. But again, it's just like anything, you can kind of play around with this a lot. I am working on getting the Crimson Moonfall so I can eventually start playing around with skill-based damage with the build. But more importantly, you guys are really well versed in knowing that, okay, if you're going to go in the prayer statue, right, go all combo if you want to maximize damage. Obviously, if you don't have all triple S, you can always have one attack combo stat in there, and there's not really anything wrong with that per se. But like long term, I think one thing that I'm going to start tweaking here is I'm basically going to try and get triple S plus, because, you know, again, trying to get to triple S plus is a real pain, but it's obviously going to give you that much more in stats. But something else that I did make a quick little video on is the fact that the Beastmaster build is coming up. So we'll have a new class, and there will be 2 different pathways. And the basic bottom line is that if you go the Bone Splitter route, then you're going to get basically stats based on the number of companions you have, and then it's just going to give you basically bonuses based on what combinations you have. And if you go the Tamer route, it's just going to increase the existing coefficient of the existing companions. So like where normally we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and anybody that runs the new Beastmaster route is going to get 6. And the main thing I can see is so like in a couple of different places, right? We would know that anybody that does the Beastmaster route is probably going to want a stupid amount of PAL damage. You know, so there's going to be some interesting builds that are going to have to start to counteract this build now, because up until this point we've had Sorks, Fury, and Archery, and now we're going to also have PAL damage involved in this. So we'll have to kind of work around builds that are basically intensifying the amount of PAL damage they're doing. I just happen to have right now in my, in my great wisdom, right, I have a PAL damage of 570 from my Furious Gale, and it wasn't intentional, you know, like I was really kind of hoping to get a better piece here. I just haven't gotten one. But if I were to, say, pick up the Beastmaster roll, all I'd need to do is basically, you know, most of your stuns and crit rate and stuff like that, like skill, combo, and all that jazz. I mean, basically all you'd be doing in your auto is so where you'd be looking for, you know, crit rate, combo, counter strike, evasion, stun. Like, I think you'll still be focusing on probably crit rate, you know, but what's interesting about the Beastmaster role is that they kind of, you know, they, if anything, they benefit from basically being really tanky. And so chances are it's going to be some combination of combo, counter strike, stun, and evasion. And we'll just have to kind of wait and see how it fleshes out. But I've seen where like a person can get bonuses based on counter strike or if they have combo. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how that dynamic plays out with the class itself, if and when we actually get our hands on it. But, you know, like anything, there's only really a handful of different places. Like in Relics, obviously, there are some things you can tweak here and there. But, like, even in Empowerments, you know, like, you're going to be looking for PAL damage. You know, you're going to be looking for any or every place you can get PAL damage at. You know, even combos now that, you know, we've had, like, for a while now. You know, people are looking at, like, certain PALs now are going to need to pay very close attention to this, because certain PALs are going to give you PAL crit, PAL damage. Like, all of that's going to play into that, I think. And that's really kind of where I think the direction is going in. But, you know, like anything, just know this with a grain of salt, that if that is something that you want to try out, the nice thing is that, you know, if you ever want to reset your class, it doesn't necessarily harm you. Like, you can reset your class at the cost of some gems, which is another good reason why I like to save my gems, because if at any time you decide, you know what, I just want to change and move to something else, you can. And it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't punish you as bad. You know, and the other thing too is, you know, with all the different things, we'll actually now see an example of where people may be building statues that do nothing more than increase PAL damage. So, you know, if anything, guys, just know that with this with a grain of salt, but there are definitely going to be a lot of players that are going to start picking that up when and if it comes in and out. So, thank you guys for watching, though, and if you guys want to save some money playing the game, watch the end of the video, and I'll see you guys next time.